Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand. Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand. Rock
Yeah, we
garments like
about to
Muslims
embark on
speaking
another
with
journey.
deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand. Hate what they can't.
We about to
Garments like
embark on another
Muslims speaking
journey.
with
Let's
deep
go.
wisdoms. Rich in all my thoughts, I was raised up by poor folks. Always get $1 long as earth produce pure coke.
You all
You
roll.
hear the message that the Lord spoke. Hard to swallow the truth, just like you got a sore throat. Rolling on a unicorn wings like the Pegasus, speaking in new languages. And I wrote it in cuneiform, ancient as the ancestors. In the heavens, stay mastering my lessons, showing sevens from my hands gestures. In my right order, you can see my light orb getting greener. Katrina get wiped out by water, stay lighting up a quarter of the rags, call it Reggie Reese. Killer ass weed, no seeds, plus I fell asleep. Waking up in hell is deep, staring at the sunlight. Niggas having gunfights like they don't even want life. Universe spared me for all the things I done right. Travel through the valley of death just to become Christ. No, I ain't Jesus, but y'all wouldn't believe us if I told you who the sheep is in this wolves trying to eat us. Walk cautious, cause them dog forces trying to lead us down the path of destruction. Catch AIDS just from fucking think the unseen is nothing, cause you don't see it physically. Birthed out of triple darkness, look what it did for me. Now I'm something in the universe. Every line divine, Lord shine, give you truest verse. Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand. Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand. Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms. Niggas fear what they don't understand.
How y'all feeling out there?
Rock garments like Muslims speaking with deep wisdoms.
We getting ready to embark, man. Some gems I want to drop on y'all for this Ourstory Tuesdays. Let's go. Yeah. Peace, love, and light to the family. Peace, love, and light to the family. Yeah. You all roll. You already know it's the Galactic one. Eleanor L. We back cracking spells. Shout out to all the Galactic Guardians, 720 degrees. Shout out to the whole URO, everybody living in the universal right order. Shout out to the House of Consciousness, House of Consciousness, Connecticut chapter. This message being brought to you by Core TV, Kingdom of Righteousness TV. The show is called Wake Up Sheeple. Y'all already know how I do. We about to jump right into the demonstration. I share to all the great prophets, ancestors, aiders, messiahs, messages who came before, making a platform available so we could be here today, giving you the message. Say, jumping right into the demo on this galactic glorious day of Ourstory Tuesdays. We're gonna jump right in with the supreme mathematics of things, dealing with the Gregorian frequency and calendar of time. It's 331, 2026. When you do the math, you get 1/7. You get knowledge God. Knowledge God, all being born to what? Build, destroy, and rebuild. Build, destroy, and rebuild. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. Because niggas done fucked up our story. They give us his story, so we gotta build on that. See what his story was talking about. Destroy all the bullshit that he done gave us and fed us with his story, and then rebuild our story. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta control the narrative of this thing. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, a lot of people, when we talk about who is who, you know what I'm saying? Who is who? Now, when I say that, you're talking about HU, who? HU, who is who? Okay. Now, most people will give it up to God or Yahweh from a religious standpoint of view, Allah, Jehovah's, and things like that. They'll give it to an external force to saying that they were created by an external force, right? And then you got those in the ancient teachings where they talk about being self created, manifested from self. You know what I'm saying? So there's power in that. If you can manifest yourself, that's a lot of power. But if somebody's creating you, then it's like you ain't that powerful. You dig what I'm saying? So if somebody give you a concept that somebody created you rather and that you really created yourself, then so they throwing you off, right? So most people, when it comes to who, we understand that who goes back to the ancient Memphites with the Shabaka stone, okay? Where they have on there as their deity Ptah, okay? In that region, of the Commission practice, those people in the Memphite region were basically uh, revering the deity Ptah, which represents the Ptahites, the small people, the original newborns that came with the planet. Okay, but to be specific about Ptah, Ptah was the deity who was a craftsman, who was an artisan, and who was the grand architect. Not only just an architect, he was the grand architect because he spoke the world into existence. That's what it says in the Shabbat stone. Okay, that who was the sacred chant he uttered. It was an utterance, and the word was who, the spoken word. And when he spoke that word, it spoke the world into existence. Okay, like I said, you want to check it out. You want to do the facts and the knowledge to that about beings being self-created and how powerful speaking was. The power of who. Who is the force of will? When you add the man on it, you get human. Who man, right? Who man? We're talking about the creative force of will of the mind, because man means mind in Latin. You did? So even when you look at it from a religious sense, you have the name Yahweh. Yahweh goes back to the sacred name that they use, which is Yahuwah. Yahuwah, right? And then it goes back into Huwah, okay? And it goes back all the way into Kemet to Hu, which is the creative force, a will. Okay, so somebody got to drive the wheel. You know what I'm saying? You have that creative force of will to drive, right? But who's driving the wheel? Is it you or is it an external force? Okay. So let's be clear on that. People can be self created according to our story. You did? See, so when it comes to speaking and the power of words, words carry spirits. They have vibratory uh, uh, conceptual weight to them. All right. So you can create life and death in the power of the tongue. This is why, you know, words are not just labels for this reality. We're not just using these words just because we in this reality and we can speak like this through socialization and all of that. No, words are commands that create your reality. Okay. They're not labels for the reality, but they're commands that create your reality. So the magic deals with the speech. That's why in the Bible it says in the beginning. Okay. Better shit. As we continue, you got to understand that words are not just for your communication. We need to be clear on that. That we didn't just make up languages and shit like that for communication. It's way fucking deeper than that. Okay. Words are not just for communication. See, the Kabbalistic people knew and understood that it was physics and somatics in it. Cymatics, sounds, sound creating form, speaking in codes that create your world. Well, words ain't just communication. Like I said, you trapped in identity bidding. Niggas doing an identity bid right now because you running around saying it's just me. It's just who I am. You casting that spell on yourself. You see what I'm saying? When you saying I'm tired, that's a spell you casting. You putting that out into you commanding the universe to go ahead and settle you down. Okay. So you're programming your subconscious mind, broadcasting an electromagnetic frequency into the quantum field. That's exactly what you're doing when you talk. So when you talk, you're programming your subconscious mind, broadcasting an electromagnetic frequency into the quantum field. You feel me? That restructures your neurological pathways in your brain to match the words coming out of your mouth. Do you understand that? You're programming your subconscious mind, broadcasting an electromagnetic frequency into the quantum field, restructuring your neural pathways in your brain to match the words coming out of your mouth. That's what's happening when you talk. That's how powerful speech is. That's how important language is. And like I told you, the Kabbalistic people knew that. Their grammar is set up with the letter system being attached with a number to it. So it's a code, it's coded. Their language is coded. If y'all understand that, okay? So this is why the ancient Greeks, Latin languages, and Sanskrit and certain languages already know that their language was a form of technology. Language is technology, y'all. I'm gonna say that again. Language is technology. Okay, we basically invoking spells through language. It's not just for communication. It's a frequency that programs and control. It's like who basically whoever controls these words controls the world because words create your world while we whirl and spiral in the galactic galaxy. In this galactic spiral that we dealing with. Okay? So words create your world that whirl us through the galactic spiral of existence. Okay, so it's no coincidence why they are now dumbing us down and dumbing the children down, especially so that they can't use their magic. They want to give them cell phones to do text speech. So you can't talk. Niggas don't even talk on the phone. We doing text speech. Yeah, you ain't even typing in and writing in the whole word. The shit popping up for you. You see what I'm saying? So it's taken away from you articulating and casting spells out of your own mouth. Then they give you emojis. You could just sum it up with an emoji. Bang. You see what I'm saying? You hit them with the emoji. You ain't even got to talk. Shrinking your ability to articulate commands. They don't want you to evoke these things. That's why in the ancient Egyptian mystery schools, basically, we revere silence more than freedom of speech. Okay. So in order to become a Kemetic priest and get down into the schools and all of that, you had to be quiet for about 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Some to accomplish priesthood, you had to do it for 40 years. Just observe and listen. That's all you could do for 7 years straight. That's like being in solitary confinement without talking, because they knew and understood that every sentence was a command to the universe. And they needed to know that you could control your sword, which is your words. When you take the S off a word, I mean sword, and you put it on the end of word, you get sword. I mean words. So they understood the power of the tongue, which is a sword. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, we revered the silence more. While today, as you can see, the first law on the U.S. Constitution is freedom of speech. They want you to say whatever you want to say and to speak your mind and all this other stuff. Because when you do that, you are cursing yourself without knowing, because random speech is basically fucking chaos magic. When you just speaking all over the place, yo, the Bulls did this and that. You just talking about anything, just saying anything, just freestyling all kind of shit. Yo, I wish I could get that. Yo, she got you just saying all kind of shit, just running your mouth. You dig what I'm saying? Not understanding that words carry spirits and you are casting a spell on yourself. That's usually who it affects. So every time you basically describe your problems to somebody, when you call somebody talking about, yo, I need to vet my girl, this, that, and third, this girl, my no, I can't swear, man. You're doing all of that. They say, get it off your chest, talk about it, express it. They want you to do that, right? But then all you doing is basically you not releasing the problem. They be like, release the shit, get it off your chest, go talk to somebody about it. But what you're doing is rehearsing the problem. You're recreating it again in the language, in that realm, in that field. So somewhere down the line, that shit gonna reoccur because you keep talking about it. That's like a person reliving their trauma. I was raped before. Every time you do it, you keep bringing it back up. You going back through that same shit again. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with speech. You know what I'm saying? Language is not just a human invention. I need y'all to understand that. It's divine technology. You feel me? So when the Kabbalistic Jews speak, they know every word is a mathematical formula. Okay? Because the Hebrew letters have numbers associated with them. For example, zero is a leaf with no sound. The first letter is the first vibration, where you get better shit, the beginning. That's why they say in the beginning was the word, and that word was with God, right? That's that utterance that they're talking about, that force of will, that who, which makes a human, right? Which makes a human coming from the Latin humus, because humans are the ground or the soil, right? That's how they explain that, coming from the atom and all that other shit or whatever, right? Or the ground, blah, blah, blah. Humus in Latin, then you go to humane, which means to have compassion. right? So you can have a humane being and you can have a human being. You dig what I'm saying? And then you could be humble, which means to lower yourself, right? To be defeated, to be low, get low. Humility means to be down to earth. Once again, we going down, we getting closer to the ground with this. You heard me? Inhuman. Inhume means to bury in the ground, like do an exhumation. Inhume, no, is to bury in the ground. So you can see the frequency connected all the way back to who from the sacred utterance of creative force of will. Okay? The magic in that. You know what I'm saying? This is why we have, you know, like I said, they overstand all of that. And it's like I said, when we came into this thing, you didn't know we was going through shipping wars just being born, right? You were shipped into the joint, and we going through shipping wars, and now you either gonna worship the warship because everything's a ship, friendship, businessship, citizenship, blah, 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 etc. So you worshiping, but at the same time you worshiping, you worshiping. You on that warship while you worshiping. You did. So you're serving a premier life sentence in this existence, right? Because you got motherfuckers saying Yahweh created it. You got motherfuckers saying Yaldabaoth created it. You got motherfuckers saying Jehovah created it. You got motherfuckers saying Baal is this. You got motherfuckers saying Ptah. You got motherfuckers saying Amen. You got motherfuckers saying it came from the great golden egg. You got all type of different creation stories. Okay. So let's not be confused. But we know for a fact when you come here, you serving a premier life sentence. You know why? Because every day you say stupid shit like we wake up or we awake in the morning. Each morning we basically awake and then we go off for the weekdays to earn a living at our jobs for these little undertakings until we come to the end of the week. Okay. And most people don't know that more people die from heart attacks on Monday mornings between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. from cardiac arrest. Biological factors and stress factors basically increase in the blood pressure and the cortisol level. So okay, so as the body starts to stress from the last week when you on the weekend now you're trying to rest up and then you gotta change the whole levels of your body and change the circadian rhythm to go back to work. That shit is killing people. That shit is causing heart attacks. I hope y'all know that. You did. So just by the way we speaking is causing that though. Because you say you awake. To go to a wake is a motherfucking funeral party. Every time you say wake, you went to my people's wake, they had died, you went to a wake, and you talking about you awake. You dead. You see what I'm saying? And then you say stupid shit like good morning. You know what I'm saying? Morning is what the people do for the dead. You know what I'm saying? And this is why you have a week, the weekdays, because now you days throughout the week because you just was mourning. Okay? You dizzied up and all of that. You fell down basically throughout the week to go out here to try to earn a living. A earn is something that you put the ashes of the dead people, cremated ashes in of the dead, right? To earn a living, right? At your job, which means to be persecuted. Okay, in Hebrew language, job means persecuted. Job, okay? And then we're talking about for them undertakings or the undertaker when they take you under, okay? For the weekend, just to make it to the weekend where you're weakened. You have no more energy. You're depleted. You're dead. See, these spelling the words is spells of magic coming from basically ancient deities and scribes from ancient information talking about Tahuti and them, Tahuti and his wife Sachet, you know, were the first ones to use the magic. To speak was magic. And they knew that it was casting energy with a definite purpose. This is why they had magic rites, rites. The same way we got magic rights, WRITE. In the same way we are right, like as in coming from a certain direction. RIGHT, right angle, as in angles, as in a 90-degree angle of a square, and how the number nine is in all the geometric shapes, right? Like the 45-degree angle gets you a nine, 360-degree angle gets you a nine. You see what I'm saying? So these words make the world whirl in these galactic patterns. Okay. Also, the word is similar to wood. Okay, you could throw the R in there, you get wood. Take, you know what I mean? Take the R out and put an O in it, you get wood, which is a piece of log. And this is where you get the word logos. Logos is the magic word of God. That's the magic. That's the symbol. That's the symbolism, the embolism, right? The magic emblem, the magic symbol, the Michael Jordan symbol. That's the logos. Okay. And like I said, this holy wood is like Hollywood. You know, the same way they cast the spells on people through the movies and the films and the wordplay that they use in the movies to make the shit match what they saying to your brain. That's what they doing to you. Okay? And remember, Jesus was a carpenter who dealt with wood. And remember, all bills go down on the debt. Debt's a wood. You know what I mean? The deal is a piece of wood. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you write a letter, anytime you write a letter, it's basically you're surrendering. You're giving it up. Okay. So when I let her, I let allow ter, ter mean to be on earth. Let mean allow, ter mean to be on earth. Terror. Let what I'm saying manifest on earth. Letter. That's why I wrote a letter. Okay. So anytime we scribe or script anything that's coming from the word scarab, like the scarab beetle K.O.R, which means who brings into existence. So when we write things down, we make knowledge born. It was a thought, it wasn't here. I wrote it down. I was physically out here with me on a piece of paper. The thought that I had in my head that's not physical, I done manifested and made it be out here with me. Okay, making knowledge born. Who bring into being? K.O.R. You feel me? So the laws of the scribes was basically to who the associate, who y'all call Thoth, right? In the Greek language. And Thoth, when you look at the letter symboling of it, you see THOTH. Does that really say thought, or is this symbolism? Because the TH basically is the T square and the H square that is the master mason tool. And there has a circle in the middle of the TH. Okay? 360-degree circle. Okay? So what are we really looking at when we looking at that? You dig? Is it really thought or thoth, or is it symbolism that has a numeric frequency to it? It's a mathematical formula. Okay? So overstand Tahuti was the master of the eight odd. Okay? He was considered the master of the eight odd gods. So this is where you get the science of the circle and the square from, and when you get all your alphabets coming out of that square. Okay? And how they built the pyramids through mantras, incantations, and shit like that. Incantations invoking and chanting certain saying shit and frequencies and tones. Sound made the motion that sparked the light. You know what I'm saying? Sound made the motion that sparked the light. And so when you start to understand this, you start to see that, like I said, a science of the circle and the square, that circle, 9 cubics from the point of that circle represents the netters. Okay. We're talking about the elemental principles, net and nunet, I mean noon and nunet, hat and kaket, cat and kaket, and amen and amenet. Those entities or deities, principles that we call them, but those nectarals will be in the circle. Then you got the square, which represents the physical manifestation of things. You know what I'm saying? Where you get your Ashar, Isis, Heru, Set, and all of those deities, right? That represents the physical aspect to things. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about 9 and 8, 9 plus 8 gets you 17. 1 plus 7 gets you 8. Like I said, we back at what we started on supreme mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Building, destroying, and rebuilding the who is who aspect. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to know that you self created. A lot of people can't fathom that. A lot of people don't want to have that much power. You in fear, you know what I'm saying, of having that much power. If you knew, if only you knew that you ain't choose your mother, I mean, that your mother and father ain't make you, you chose your mother and father. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? With this magic utterance that we got, the power of utterance. This is why rap music is so fucking powerful. This is why the rap music shit is so powerful. And if we use it for the right shit, you know what I'm saying, it can actually shift the consciousness. If you want to know the state of a country, just look at the state of the music. You want to know the state of a people, just look at the music that they listening to. And that will show you what kind of state the people are in. Literally. Literally. Literally, that's how powerful the music is. So that's how powerful words are, especially combined with sound and frequencies and shit like that. You get into a hypnosis state. You know what I'm saying? So understand your power of who that's in you as a human. Some of us are humans, some of us are humane, some of us are supreme beings. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are mankind. Some of us are just man. You know, some of us are beasts. Some of us are animals. You know, some of us are demons. You know what I'm saying? You got to know your role and who the fuck you is. So if you on your human shit, then you control the creative force of will. You know what I'm saying? So to understand, it's been another galactic glorious day. Y'all tap back into your story, read that Shabaka Stone. You know what I'm saying? And keep our story alive, man. My lighter rat. It's been another galactic glorious day. Y'all travel at Harvard. Hey, we gonna go out with a bag of those. Let's see what we got.
We bout peace, we say it's long, and our prayers in the main. Fought ourselves until we gave in.
Traveling
To
harmony.
the witches as they land. Leviathan inside of them, so they fell from thinking. From the highest plane of thought, ancient wisdom like thought. More than likely to come up short when you come from the port. Graveyards is overcrowded, see the numbers of course. I ain't taken by magazine when it comes to the source. Them things be fully loaded, only murder could be the motive. It's like the whole world's dead and we plagued by COVID. So are you 19? Beware of the eagles, right one and the left one. Foreign nations father you like a stepson. Know the roots to your big and vine tree. For your bigger than me, going through a story. Can't define me, I'm avatar. Like being a peer from the stars. Feel a spark in charge when you hearing these bars. You a show us news we don't see on Fox. Saw a sister pull out a Glock, get her business to cops. Ice Cube, no Vaseline, she get the biggest of props. I ain't talking about vaccines when we giving out shots. We gon' bust, anything else is beyond us. I'd rather be on dust than trust Elon Musk. Illuminati verse the Mukmunati. The faithful verse the ungrateful of the human body. We immortalists, chains hang, swinging with ornaments. He on my list, need Walter's dick to hit this gorgeous clip. We warriors, Glocks from Nurture, give euphoria. This ain't America, fam, this is America. Come tour with us through Turtle Island, where the homicide rate and the murder piling. Worshipping diamonds, perfect timing on a Rolex. Bombs don't get dropped on your records if you don't know flex. The game got me so vexed. Still got the Sheeple a day for bag. Sold a day for cash, they can ask for a bag. Running around half naked, dressed like a prostitute on some selling sex tip. Wonder why you ain't respected. Word. What out here clucking around like a bird, you foul literary. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers, but get it together, you heard, Big Bird. Big Bird.